Christopher Ward have released a watch with a complication that only high-end watchmakers dare to make. And one more thing, it's only going to cost the same amount as a Tudor Black Bay 58. Let's get into it! So good news! Thanks to Patrick, the new media content creator from Christopher Ward, I've got an actual Bel Canto for us to review. Apparently it's just come back from Hodinky. Now, Christopher Ward, where can I start? Well, I've owned one, the C65 Vintage Manual Wind Diver, which was a very nice watch. The most recent review I did was of the C60 Trident. Not a bad watch. I've also reviewed the Super Compressor, which I was very impressed with. But over the years, Christopher Ward just hasn't really won me over yet. They tick a lot of boxes with high specs and make very good Swiss watches at an affordable price for you and me. They're always going to have a couple of niggles. One, the company hasn't been around for 20 years yet, so when you're spending close to £1,000, you aren't buying any heritage there. The second thing is the name, Christopher Ward. And to have Christopher Ward on the dial of your watch just puts some people off. Well, lately the company have chosen not to use the name on the dial and instead use that Swiss English flag logo, which I really do like. But let's put that aside because I want to talk about this game-changing watch. Frank Stelzer, head watchmaker and pretty awesome engineer, thought it was entirely possible to turn the jumping hour mechanism they use on a previous watch and turn it into a chiming mechanism, thus starting this war between engineer and designer. Because the idea was to show off this mechanism on the front of the dial, which means it had to look aesthetically pleasing. I have never seen a watch like this before. To buy a watch with a chiming complication, you're going to need to spend in excess of 10, 15, 20,000 pounds. At least. Christopher Ward have made the Bel Canto,
which is good sound in Italian,
affordable. Anyway, the watch was released and by the next day, which was the launch party, the watches were sold out. Then you have the likes of Watchfinder and Hodinky that never really talk about Christopher Ward usually, lauding this watch up and giving it their seal of approval. But I guess what you're all waiting for, does it get my seal of approval? Quite excited about this one. Are you chiming watch ready? Let's go! Whoa, and here it is, the Bel Canto in all its glory, and my, what a watch. Straight away, legibility,
2 out of 10.
But this is all about looking at the movement before the time. What an absolutely beautifully stunning looking dial this is. My eyes go straight to the beak of the songbird, which is the mechanism that's going to give us that lovely chime. Already you've got to appreciate the level of design that's gone into this watch. The headaches and sleepless nights to get this watch looking like this. It's so goddamn light. That's because the case is made of grade 5 titanium, and this was chosen for its resonance qualities. Yes, a very hard material which will bounce the sound all over the place. And talking of the case, how good is that finishing? I know the watch isn't thin, but the chamfering, the beveled edges, and the clever execution of the bezel, I don't see a thick watch. First impressions, what a work of art. Quick spec check! Okay, so the case is just over 41 millimeters, which for a watch with a chiming complication is much smaller than usual.
Lovely.
It's 13.5 mil thick, under 48 millimeters lug to lug, and it has a 22 millimeter lug width. The beautiful sign crown at 2 o'clock is not screw in. We also have a pusher at 4 o'clock. This is to turn the chime on or off. The watch is only 30 meters water resistant.
But come on.
You're not going to take this swimming, are you? The dial is protected by a sapphire glass, and the whole thing still mesmerizes me.
Oh, sorry, still rolling.
This is a watch you're going to put your wrist up to look at, put it down, and not realize you checked the time. So the songbird is the chiming mechanism. Very nice. Give this sketch to Tony and he'll have a CAD version for me in no time, and then I can start production. Oh, and welcome to another edition of the Design House, where we take a look at a watch's case pack. And today, Well, I don't believe I'm gonna say this, but the front is much better than the back. Let's take a look. So, made from grade 5 titanium, this screw-in case back, it houses a beautiful modified Celita. But the pressing on the case back does look like a resonating sound, doesn't it? Ha ha ha! At the front of this watch, I just can't. Yes, the chime, Tony. Get the chime going. I don't care what it sounds like. I just want it to chime. So there we go, the Bel Canto, an extremely magnificent watch. That's it from me. I'll see you for another episode of The Design House. Cut. Darling, get the champers out. I'm feeling infused with excitement.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Okay, let's look at the face.
Dial time.
And I've got to include the movement part of this review in with it too. So the beautiful azzurro blue, they call it, is not actually a dial, but it is a platine, a plate that's actually in the middle of a movement. So you've got cogs and wheels above and cogs and wheels below. The challenge for the designers and the engineers were hiding parts of the mechanism below the platine to make it look aesthetically beautiful as it does. The bridges, the hammer, and the chiming indicator does look like a little birdie, and in fact they call it the songbird. You gotta know that the bridges with the curved polishing and all the intricate finishing inside this watch could not have been done without the help of fine watchmakers in Switzerland. This is another reason why the likes of Watchfinder and Hodinkee were scratching their heads thinking there's gotta be a catch. See where the hammer is? There's what looks like a big smiley face going along the outside of the bottom of the dial. That is essentially the bell, and it's been tapered and laser cut to give a beautiful note of D. I'm not usually one for having a big dial with a small sub dial as the main time, but I've got to say it is beautiful on this thing. I love the way it looks like it's floating off that platine, and that thing's got lume on it too. C3 Superluminova, that is a bonus, definitely. Anyway, I know you're waiting for the chime, so over the course of an hour, the hammer is pulled back, and then when it hits the hour, strikes that bell. And here's the sound. Now, yes, it's not... You can definitely hear the hammer hitting that bell. It doesn't need to be an alarm. It's just an hour indicator. And I think that works perfectly. On the movement, this added module is on top of a Celita SW200. 28,800 beats per hour, 38 hours of power reserve. But Christopher Ward do have an in-house movement, the SH21. So why did they use the Celita? Well, after a fantastic chat with Will Brackfield, one of the designers of the Bel Canto, he explained that the SH21 is quite a thick movement, and if we were going to put the module on top of that, it would make the overall thickness of the watch 15 to 16 millimeters. So to be fair, that's the perfect answer. On my 6.5-inch wrist, and this thing is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? The light-catching case of Christopher Ward just enhances that amazing blue dial. The size is great on my wrist. I mean, come on, it's a shower, isn't it? It's not subtle. This is to show off. This watch came with a beautiful blue leather strap. You could have got a tanned colour one, or you could have opted for the bracelet, which was titanium like the case. I love this blue strap. It sets off the watch beautifully, and it's been an honour to have it on my wrist. Now, the only negative I have with this watch is that it's very light. Grade 5 titanium was used purely because it resonates the sound the best. Now, I've never handled a watch with a chiming complication before, but I kinda wanted it to be a little bit heavier, I've got to be honest. Also, if I tap it like this, it has that springy sound. That is obviously the chiming part, that big smiley face, waiting to be donged again. But that's all the negatives I could find. So there you go, the Christopher Ward Bel Canto, the game changer. Why is it a game changer? Well, this watch has had a lot of press coverage from big players in the watch journalistic market. People that ignored Christopher Ward or never batted an eyelid about them are now going on the website and checking out this watch and there are others in the range. There is no doubt it's going to have a massively positive effect on them as a watch brand. Now, these watches have been sold out, but don't panic. In the coming year, Christopher Ward have announced that 4 new colorways are coming your way. A salmon pink, a purpley grape, a sky blue, and what I think is going to be the most popular, the black. After speaking to designer Will Brackfield, it made me hugely excited for him and the company for what's to come in the next couple of years. And I know what we're all excited about is whether Pagani Design or San Martin makes a clomage of it. Here it is, my wife's first impressions of the Bel Canto. Oh my God, what the f is this? Where's the time? Is this a watch? I do like the blue. Looks futuristic. I think over time, she's going to come round to the Bel Canto. If you've liked today's show, please click like and subscribe. If you want a bit more of the Mad Watch Collector, click this button right there and join. And if I've got you for a few minutes, why don't you check this show out? This one's incredible. The unique way I've videoed the watches, just everything about it. Very special. I'm pretty proud of this one. Come on, click it. Click it. Click it!